Gamers of Reddit, what are good video games to play with your non-gamer girlfriend? Story 1. Since It Takes Two was already taken, my non-gamer girl said Mario games, or games with levels. Not a bad answer, as I can keep her alive or let her bubble up and carry her. Can also make progress without her, and nothing of substance was missed. Story 2. Have a lot of experience here. These are my successes. Terraria, Stardew Valley. Trine 2, 4, 5, Overcooked. It Takes Two Bit Harder. Split Fiction, Hard, Mario 3D World. Story 3. Depending on what theme she would be interested in. It Takes Two, A Way Out. This one made me cry. LOL. Split Fiction, Unravel, 2, Bokura, Operation Tango, Portal 2, Overcooked, Played Up, Snipper Clips, Moving Out, Human Fall. Flat Stardew Valley, Polyapal World, Grounded, Minecraft, Don't Starve Together, Raft Forest, Etk, Mario Kart Party, Sackboy, Smash Bros, Kirby's Return to Dreamland, etc. The Dark Picture, Anthologies, Man of Maiden, etc. Until Dawn. Story 4. A complicated question indeed. Depends on her tastes. Overcooked is a good game that really tests your coordination with each other. Minecraft is of course a golden standard for group play. It's Legos, without the cleanup. Unravel 2 is a cute game that requires a fair degree of teamwork and puzzle solving. Portal 2 is a classic teamwork game that also has a fun story tossed in. Castle Crashers Remastered is a fun slice and dice game. Even more fun if you can get a full squad of 4. Got kids? Pretty much every LEGO game is fantastic, especially the Star Wars ones. Split Fiction was utterly wonderful. My wife and I stayed me up for hours to finish it after we started. She couldn't put it down, or let me leave to get food. I nearly starved to death. Okay, that's a stretch, but she really enjoyed it. These games are mostly good starter games. Not too difficult, good for just unwinding and having fun. They can lead to some playful arguments when you are trying to solve a puzzle one way and they keep saying no. It's this way. Or when your wife keeps killing you in the LEGO games because she thinks it's funny. Story 5. Baldur's Gate 3 as well. You can play multiplayer or together single player. Get her to make the choices in dialogue and customize her character. Maybe lend a hand with the game mechanics, spell skills, etc. Story 6. My wife and I are really enjoying Blueprints. I drive, and she backseat drives and maintains the notebook. That game really rewards multiple brains playing it at once. Story 7. Halo. I am the girlfriend of the gamer. I get anxious about being good and not holding him back, not at all pressure from him, but from myself. And for some reason, I just absolutely loved playing Halo together. It's pretty easy and forgiving, story is solid, and it's fun to run around and kill bad guys. Story 8. Cozy co-op games that I think you all will enjoy. Ale Tavern, First Pints, Captain Toad, Treasure Tracker, Galaxy Burger, Human Fall Flat, Kiwi, Lego Star Wars, Skywalker. Saga. Most LEGO games fall into this category. Moving Out, Pico Park, Power Wash Simulator, Spiritfarer. This one pulls at heartstrings. Sun Haven, Stardew Valley, The Two of Us, Untitled Goose Game, Yoshi's Crafted World, Less Cozy Games, Cat Quest series, Deep Rock Galactic Shooter Game. But your dwarves who mine for gold and fight colorful bugs. Good job. Minecraft only on this side of the list due to combat, but you can play in creative mode with no monsters. It Takes Two Mass Effect Trilogy, where you play the game and she makes all the story decisions next to you. Portal 2. It has a separate co-op story mode. Pikmin 3 Full Coupon 3. In Pikmin 4, second player can only throw rocks. Terraria. Story 9. Any survival game where you can make the settings what you want it to be to suit playstyle. Minecraft, Valheim, etc. There's an amazing free-to-play MMO called Palia I recommend as well. Story 10. So long as the guy doesn't have the mentality of a toddler, I'd say Mortal Kombat. But I've seen many a gamer bro's inner come out when he has to watch experienced Scorpion get beaten by newbie Jade the girlfriend. Story 11. Diablo 3 on Switch. I handled most of the equipment stuff for her, but she handled skill switching and trying diff till she found a fun playstyle. We probably logged 200 hours just around. It was crazy fun. Story 12. It Takes Two has an amazing co-op playthrough. Minecraft is probably the best sandbox game out there. My girlfriend and myself have a couple large cities we've built together. And then Outer Wilds is a great game to pass the controller back and forth between deaths. Story 13. Blueprints. Only needs one person to do the controller, but you can collaborate on the puzzles. Anything that requires the second player to have gamepad proficiency has been a harder sell for me. It's a skill that a lot of gamers take for granted. Story 14. Mario Kart. Fun and colorful cast of beloved characters racing around in go-karts with hilarious items and charming courses. The latest even have driving assistance so that anyone can participate. P.S. If your relationship ends because you launched one too many blue shells at your non-gamer girlfriend, I am not responsible. Story 15. Vampire Survivors, It requires no input other than the left analog stick, it fires automatically, and is a top-down view so there's no need to control a camera. Probably the simplest game possible. Story 16 with Hitler. 2. Is she playing with you or just watching? My wife is like this. She's found some secrets before just by simply watching me play. She'll have comments about the game, which makes the game more interactive. Story 17. It Takes Two is a great game to play together. Bonus if you have kids, because you can sit and stare in amazement at how terrible of parents they can be. Story 18. My wife and I had a blast solving Return of the Obra Dinn together. I was in the driver's seat, but most of the work is thinking it out and we did that as a team. So perhaps puzzle mystery games that you can work though together. Myst. The Witness, 999, Phoenix Wright, Golden Idol, Obra Dinn, stuff like that. Story 19, Astrobot. Such a good platformer and user-friendly in the earlier levels, I think. A non-gamer definitely won't be able to find all of the secret stuff, but should at least be able to beat the earlier levels and learn how to play. Story 20. Not a gamer, but these Reddit gamers should try playing this game with their non-gamer girlfriends, called Taking a Shower Before You Hang Out With Her and Taking Her on a Date to a Restaurant IRL. Story 21. Blue Prince is a recent puzzle game that is much more laid back. My partner is very involved with input and note-taking while I roam around playing as the character. Balatro is surprisingly good as a couch co-op game, as you can both collaborate to win each round. We have spent over 24 hours game time on each game here, and they're both decently affordable. Story 22. Minecraft. Maybe things like chess. I tried to play Minecraft with my ex, who didn't game at all, however she did play tennis, and was quite good at it. So, she found it much more fun playing IRL games like chess, badminton. Story 23. Skywalker Saga, Diablo 3v, Saints Row the Third. Also story games, and you pass your controller around when you die, reach a checkpoint, Cyberpunk, Tsushima, etc. Story 24. Non-gamer here, but my husband got me absolutely positively hooked on the Mass Effect trilogy years ago. My son was born in 2023, and I insisted his middle name be Shepard. Story 25. My wife loves Stardew Valley, both her playing solo and us co-op, Tales of Symphonia, Dragon Quest VII, Valkyria Chronicle, and the Mass Effect series FemShep, Renegade for little decisions and Paragon for the big ones. FTBO. Story 26. Untitled Goose Game. It's short, fun, and easy to pick up. It's nice to be able to complete it in a few afternoons, so she feels motivated after finishing a game and can move on to something a bit more challenging and long, like It Takes Two. Story 27. I have a girl who's very story-oriented. If there is a game that helps introduce her to soft controls and motivates her to continue through it to figure out what happens, it would be Plague Tale and its sequel. I would ask if something within those boundaries interested her at all. Story 28. Anything task-oriented, preferably without the pressure of a timer. Power Wash Simulator, Animal Crossing. Both can be multiplayer also. Once you start to get a feel of the controls, then you can advance to game that require more time constraints. Story 29. Check out Fantasy Life. I have been really enjoying it, and my wife has been asking about it. It has limited couch co-op, and has crossplay and cross-save. The issue would be having to buy 2 copies to have a full MP experience, but it's a lot of fun. Story 30. We've just starting playing Sunderfolk, and it's fun. We're both gamers, but it fits a really neat little niche of party-based RPG cast to TV and play with phones. I hadn't thought of that as a thing, but it's nicely done with beautiful artwork, stripped down but still strategic gameplay, and fun choices for group casual play like shoving and throwing enemies or allies, as core mechanics and opportunities to give objects names that all players will see and use. The game emphasizes cooperation and communicating with each other, and it makes it easy to do it. They've made smart choices in balancing choice and simplicity. There's a good tutorial that walks you through concepts one at a time and lets you apply them in brief scenarios before moving on. You get cards for different combat options, but usually only 2 to 3 cards per scenario, so they are easy to understand and manage. The scenarios so far have been pretty quick and self-contained, so they won't tax the patience of a new player, but there's also no round timer, so there's time to explain things. There are different races and classes, but your race is your class and has a preset appearance and gender, so there's no lengthy setup. And I really appreciate the gender balance. Female characters are widely integrated and not just one token playable. I wouldn't choose this as a single-player game, but it's really not aimed at that market. The phone controller is an unneeded layer of complication when you're playing alone, but together, it makes the game a lot more social and laid back, because you don't each have your head stuck in your own computer. Definitely a great intro to party-based adventure for casual players. Story 31, Diablo 3. Okay, hear me out. My non-gamer girlfriend had trouble moving and looking simultaneously with a game controller, so this rules out a lot of shooter, open-world exploration games. Diablo 3 is viewed from above, making movement, and aim very easy for her. Also, casting abilities is very easy on the controller. Now I chose a melee character to tank for her, for instance Barbarian, and she took a ranged DPS character like Wizard. This resulted in her satisfaction of killing heaps of monsters and actually doing the majority of the damage. Contributing the most to our victories OFC, I know there is more skill required to tank. The theme is not really for her, but the gameplay totally made up for this. She even instigated to play the game several times, something I did not accept from her as non-gamer. Story 32. That is, surprisingly, more person-to-person than you would expect. My friend's wife never played video games before being with him. No joke, her gaming experience is, from what I can remember, World of Warcraft, Elden Ring, Dark Souls 1 and maybe 3, the new Amnesia game, and Fortnite. All that to say, it depends on what she wants to get out of gaming. Does she just want to have fun with you? Or does she want to get into video games? Story 33. I played the Room series with my wife recently, and now she's really into puzzle games. Those are great games for dating, especially the third one, which we're trying to complete with multiple endings without using any hints. It feels like being a kid trying to break a game without the internet. The only way to do it is by playing together or sharing information with friends. Story 34. She loved It Takes Two and Split Fiction. We're playing Broforce now and having a blast. She also loved Unravel 2, Untitled Goose Game, Alice Madness Returns, A Way Out, and Streets of Rage 4. Story 35. Well, I'm female, but I would grab the good old Switch and something either non-skill related, open world, or easy. Animal Crossing's problem the first that comes to mind. Story 36. Personally, I got my fiancé into Stardew Valley, and once she went insane and 100 it, I started adding upwards of 100 mods. It's been downhill from there. Story 37. Until Dawn, The Quarry, The Dark Pictures, Anthology, Man of Medan, Little Hope, House of Ashes, The Devil, In Me, Detroit, Become Human, The Casting of Frank Stone. These are all cinematic-style games that don't really require much input from the player. You pass the controller back and forth or play on your own controllers. Just walk around, interact with random objects and characters, do a few quick-time events, progress the story. Story 38. I am the non-gamer GF. We usually play Roblox horror games and Minecraft, though in these games he does lost of the work and I usually just keep stressing out for no reason. Story 39 TBH. The Borderlands games if both like shooters. That's how Maya and I bonded. Me dying in BL2 as Gage and him constantly reviving me and telling me how much Good times. Story 40. Anything you enjoy enough to be patient teaching. Even a fun game becomes way less fun if you don't have the patience or sense of humor, deal with her not aiming and walking properly, oh well. Story 41 depends a bit on their interests, but a good place to start is It Takes Two, same company also recently released. Split Fiction, much in the same spirit. My wife has a thing for cute things, so I can also get her into things that are cute. Most recently was MTG with Bloomborough. But the biggest thing to bear in mind is to be patient with non-gamers. They don't have the muscle memory of using keyboard or controllers, so it is not going to be as easy to them as it is to you. And nobody likes to play with somebody being impatient. If you tell us about her interests, we can help more. Story 42. Animal Crossing and Minecraft. I've always liked to game, but I think those are chill fun games that she could really get into. There's a lot of options in Minecraft like building games or fighting or survival or making worlds. Animal Crossing is just chill and cute. Story 43. Think of some somewhat low-skill puzzle games. This will be fun and engaging, but not too difficult for her to enjoy. Games like Portal 2, It Takes Two, A Way Out, Split Fiction, etc. Story 44. Soundfall is fun if they like music. Sea of Stars has local co-op now, and just got an amazing free DLC. It's pretty easy and fun, and has all the best elements of a good game. Story 45. Stick to the retro-styled games. I would prefer Stardew Valley or Zelda for someone with limited experience. You don't want to overwhelm them with complexity. Story 46. If you like puzzles, there have been some fantastic puzzlers that I've really enjoyed playing together with my partner. Her story, The Root Trees Are Dead. Type Help, Curse of the Obra Dinn. Unboxing, The Cryptic Killer.